Hello, I'm Matt and welcome back to Workshop. I do love a good pallet and I love upcycling, so I thought I'd have a go at Sterling Davis's pallet upcycling challenge, so let's get started.
First thing to do is break up a pallet. To do this I have a roughneck demolition bar. It works really well just to pop the boards up, then I can hammer the nails through and pull them out. Making sure every last nail is removed from the boards, I can then clean them up in the planer. And then make sure they're all square on the jointer. I have an old vintage leather briefcase which I'm using for inspiration for this one. I'm going to use the same dimensions, so I'm measuring it out and then I can cut out every piece of wood I need on the chop saw. To join the briefcase together, I'm going to use my finger joint jig. I can just clamp it in place and then just keep moving it along, making each cut. When all the joints are cut, they just need lots of glue on them and then they can be pushed together. Clamps on to hold it in place until the glue dries, and then check to make sure everything's square. When the glue is set, I can just make sure everything's level using a hand plane. Now it's time to add a top and a bottom to the case, so I just measure how long I need the wood and chop it all down on the mitre saw. I run some glue around the edge of the box and then I can lay the boards in place, and then I hold them all down using a few brad nails. The glue has dried, I put a round over bit in my router and round over the edges on the top and the bottom of the case. I give the whole thing a sand down with some 240 grit sandpaper. This is the most nerve-wracking bit of the build, cutting the lid off. I just run the box down the fence, flipping it over each time. If I've got everything square, then the final cut should all line up and there should be a perfect lid. I want to give the case an aged look, so I'm going to brush on some oak stain. Just need to brush it on, let it dry, and then wipe off any excess. When the stain's dry, it's time to fit some brass hinges. I use a knife to mark out where they need to go, then use a chisel to remove the waste material. I mark the holes for the screws with a bradawl, and then I can just screw into the brass screws. To give the case a shine, I brush on some briar wax and leave it to dry for a bit. When it's all dried, I then buff it to a nice shine using a hand drill and a brush. To keep the case closed, I got some brass catches that just need lining up, marking and then screwing on. For the handle for the case, I cut a leather strap, then punched out the ends before beveling the edges. I punched some holes in it for the screws to go through to attach it to the wooden case, and then I could take it to the drill press to burnish it. couple of brass screws on either end of the strap to use as a handle, and that's it all finished. Now I have a wooden briefcase. All I need now is an office job. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe for more videos.